Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. About 3 months ago, I adopted a blind leopard gecko. His name is Puff. If you don't know his backstory, he was at a PetSmart store where I buy crickets, and they discovered that he was blind and couldn't sell him. So they asked me if I would take care of him. And a lot of you have been asking how Puff is doing, so today I thought I'd do an update on him. Puff lives in this cabinet that I converted into two enclosures. He's in the bottom enclosure underneath my other leopard gecko, Laverne. It's about 36 inches wide and 18 inches deep and is a nice size enclosure for a leopard gecko. On the warm side is a hide that sits on a ceramic low wattage deep heat projector above that. And there's an assortment of other hides as you move across the enclosure. I've tried to keep it pretty simple and don't change anything around because Puff relies on feeling his way around. Puff is completely unable to hunt down his food or even find it for himself, so about 3 or 4 times a week I have to hand feed him. He was stuck on mealworms when he came to me, but I finally got him eating crickets as well. I usually alternate feedings with crickets on one day and mealworms on the next. And Puff has learned the routine pretty well. It's taken me a little practice though, because I have to hold the food just right in front of his lips for him to decide to take it. He usually eats about 6 or 8 crickets or mealworms and then decides that he's finished. Just like most leopard geckos, Puff sleeps during the day and spends most of the time in his warm side hide. But he is very active at night after the lights go out. I've been torn about how much light to give Puff because I don't know how much the light may or may not bother him. But I also want him to have a normal day-night light cycle. And I have seen him come out and explore his enclosure with lights on like he's doing here. As far as normal leopard gecko behavior and body language goes, the only thing I can compare him to is Laverne. But I think Laverne's a pretty normal and typical leopard gecko. And when I watch Puff move around in his enclosure, there are differences. It's hard to describe exactly, but compared to the way Laverne meanders around, when Puff moves from one spot to another, he goes in a straight line until he reaches an obstacle. And as he moves around an obstacle, he seems to use his chin to feel his way around. He also seems to keep his head facing straight forward more as he moves around. I've had Laverne for quite a while now, and she and I have a great relationship. She's very tame and used to coming out and being handled. But socializing Puff has really been difficult. I would expect with all the hand feeding that we'd be making some progress, but Puff is still very shy and skittish and doesn't like being touched in any way. It's hard for me to get inside Puff's head, and I really don't even have an idea about how Puff perceives me. Laverne will lick my hand and she knows what I smell and taste like. She knows what I look like and what my hands look like. She knows what my hands and arms feel like when she crawls around on them, but Puff can't see me like that. In this shot here, I have the camera literally an inch or two in front of Puff's face, and I don't think he even knows it's there. The handling isn't so important. That's really for me more than it is for them. And they don't need that in order to have a good quality of life. But it would be nice if Puff and I could get to that point. And we may someday. It's just going to take a lot of time and patience. Regardless of Puff's special needs, it doesn't keep him from being able to thrive as much as any other leopard gecko. And he's really a beautiful gecko. And having to spend the extra time caring for him is giving me a special attachment to him. So that's all I have for today. I hope you've enjoyed seeing more of Puff, and I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next video.